Sometimes nothing is working for you, not because you are lazy, weak, cursed, or incapable, but because something was placed on you long before you understood how heavy it was. By the time you graduated, people had already decided who you were supposed to become. Expectations were placed on you. Pressure was placed on you. Fear was placed on you. Responsibility was placed on you, often without guidance, support, or real preparation for how difficult life after graduation can actually be. When you wore that graduation gown, it looked like a celebration. Smiles, photos, applause, congratulations. But underneath that gown, many people were carrying anxiety, confusion, and quiet fear. Society celebrated the moment, but no one stopped to ask if you were truly ready for what came next. You were told that graduation meant things would finally work, that doors would open, that life would become clear, that effort would start matching results. But what no one explained is that graduation often comes with a psychological shock. The structure disappears. The clear path ends. And suddenly, you are expected to perform in a world that gives little guidance and even less patience. What was really placed on you during that moment was pressure without direction, expectations without tools, dreams without a roadmap. That kind of pressure does something dangerous to the human mind. It creates fear of failure. It creates fear of starting. It makes you feel like every move must be perfect because you are carrying the hopes of family, friends, and even your younger self. So you hesitate. You overthink. You delay. Not because you don't want to succeed, but because failure now feels heavier than before. Before graduation, mistakes felt like part of learning. After graduation, mistakes feel like proof that something is wrong with you. Another thing that was placed on you is comparison. The moment you graduate, the race begins. Who gets a job first? Who moves out first? Who gets married first? Who looks successful on social media? You begin measuring your life against other people's timelines without knowing their struggles, advantages, or hidden support. Comparison quietly destroys confidence. And when confidence goes down, action slows down. When action slows down, nothing seems to work, even when effort is present. Many people after graduation are not stuck because they are lazy. They are stuck because they are mentally overwhelmed. They are trying to make the right decision instead of a real one. They are afraid that one wrong step will ruin everything. Another heavy thing placed on you is identity pressure. You start defining yourself only by outcomes. Your job title, your salary, your visible progress. When those things don't appear quickly, you begin to question your worth. You stop seeing yourself as a growing person and start seeing yourself as a failing project. Nothing works when your self-worth is tied to external validation. Nothing works when every setback feels like a personal judgment. Nothing works when you are trying to live up to an image instead of building a life that fits your actual strengths, personality, and pace. Many graduates also carry unspoken guilt. Guilt for opportunities they had that others didn't. Guilt for parents' sacrifices. Guilt for expectations that were loudly celebrated but quietly unsupported. That guilt creates pressure to succeed fast, even when conditions are not right. And when success doesn't come quickly, shame sets in. Shame makes people isolate. Isolation makes growth harder. And slowly, you start feeling like nothing is working. Another overlooked truth is that graduation places responsibility on you before clarity arrives. You are expected to know what you want, what you're good at, and where you're going, even though most people are still discovering themselves. That gap between expectation and reality creates frustration and self-doubt. Nothing feels like it's working because you are trying to build a future while still understanding yourself. There is also the loss of community that comes after graduation. Before, you had classmates, schedules, shared struggles. After, everyone scatters. Support systems weaken. Conversations become surface level. You face challenges alone more often than you expected. Humans are not designed to grow without support. When support disappears, progress slows, not because you are failing, but because you are human. Many people misinterpret this phase as failure, when it is actually transition. Transition is uncomfortable. Transition is quiet. Transition feels unproductive before it becomes visible progress. Another thing that stops things from working is unrealistic timelines. You were taught that life follows a straight line. Study, graduate, succeed. But real life moves in loops, pauses, setbacks, restarts, and detours. When your life doesn't match the expected script, frustration builds. You begin forcing results instead of building foundations. You chase outcomes instead of developing skills. You apply pressure where patience is needed. Nothing works when you rush growth. What often needs to happen is a mental restart. Not starting life over, but resetting expectations. Letting go of who you thought you had to be. Letting go of deadlines that were never realistic. Letting go of the idea that you are behind. Because you are not behind. You are learning under pressure. Another truth people avoid is that some graduates were emotionally neglected during that transition. Everyone celebrated their achievement, but no one prepared them for the emotional crash afterward. Once the excitement faded, reality hit. Bills, rejection, silence, uncertainty. You were applauded at the peak, then left to navigate the valley alone. That does not mean you are failing. It means the system glorifies arrival and ignores adjustment. Nothing works when you are still grieving who you thought you would become by now. That grief needs acknowledgement, not self-criticism. Slow progress does not mean no progress. Confusion does not mean incapability. Needing time does not mean wasting time. The pressure placed on you at graduation can be removed, but only if you consciously put it down. You do that by redefining success, by focusing on skills instead of status, by choosing consistency over comparison, by allowing yourself to grow without punishment. Once you stop measuring your life against that one moment, clarity begins to return. Once you accept that graduation was not a finish line but a transition, the weight starts lifting. Nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is broken. Nothing was wasted. You are untangling expectations that were never explained. You are building stability without a manual. You are learning under conditions no one prepared you for. And that takes time. When you understand this, the frustration softens, the shame fades, and slowly, things begin to move again. Not all at once. Not perfectly. But forward. That is what many people are going through right now, quietly. And knowing this does not fix everything instantly, but it helps you stop blaming yourself for being human. That is where real progress begins.